like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I have a Scream action figure that it's like right there. I was gonna take it out for the video, but then I was like so nestled in there, I didn't want to mess up the other action figures. But just imagine that I brought it out and I have it right here next to the VHS. Okay. Scream is a globally known franchise at this point, and the iconic killer with the ghost mask, known as Ghostface, is considered a true horror icon, along with the other greats such as Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, and the list goes on. So I'm gonna try something different on my channel today, and so this isn't a review of Scream. No, I just want to talk about what the original Scream from 1996 means to me. Not how it affected the horror genre or anything like that. This isn't going to be a video that's heavy on research, but instead, what it personally means to me and how it has influenced me as an aspiring filmmaker or an independent filmmaker if I want to toot my own horn and say that I am one. Scream was released in December of 1996 and I was born in November of 1995. So I was just 1 year old when the movie was released. I actually saw the movie when I was young. I would say around 8 or so. My dad used to play a lot of horror movies and I would just sit there and watch them with him, which is pretty dark for a little kid to be watching. I think that's what actually got me into horror movies. I remember being obsessed with Jaws and the Terminator and all that as a little kid. Anyway, when I watched Scream again, and I was old enough to actually understand the humor of it and what was going on in it, I was about 15 or so in high school, and I loved it. Scream blew my mind when I watched it as a teenager. At that point, I already knew that I wanted to make movies, and I was already saving up money little by little to buy myself a cheap camera to use and shoot around my neighborhood and with my friends and all that kind of stuff. But the reason why I loved Scream when I first saw it is because it introduced to me the idea that you can make a horror movie that's not only funny, but also self-aware of the horror genre that it belongs to. That was genius to me. At that age, I was already a big fan of Sam Raimi's The Evil Dead, and especially Evil Dead 2, which I fucking love for a similar reason. I should probably make a separate video of why I love Evil Dead 2. Anyway, at that point, I was already a big fan of The Evil Dead, and I loved the humor and gore of it. But it seemed like it was made for mostly adults, you know what I mean? In comparison to Scream, Evil Dead's humor seemed more based on shock value and slapstick, which I do love, but Scream just had this very teenagery or jovial humor that I hadn't seen before in a horror movie, other than like those really cheesy horror movies. Scream is just so fun, and I love that, you know? And speaking of humor, I think Scream has lines that are really quotable and stick to your mind.
The Exorcist was on. Got me thinking of you.
No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel.
Don't you blame the movies? Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative. Fucking hit me with a phone, Dick!
I don't really believe in motive, Sid. I mean, did Norman Bates have a motive?
No.
Did they ever really decide why Hannibal Lecter liked to eat people?
Don't think so.
Like, the fact that the movie itself and the characters in the movie reference horror movies that we know in real life is genius. And not only that, but these characters, as jovial or silly as sometimes they can be, they feel like real people. In most other horror movies, most characters feel disposable because they're most likely going to get killed anyway, so why even give them fleshed out personalities, you know? But in Scream, every character feels real. Sidney Prescott, for example, is supposed to be the final girl in the movie and in the series, and in some ways she is. I mean, she's even coming out in Scream 5 after now 4 encounters with Ghostface. But she is really smart, and most importantly, fights and fights and fights to survive. She breaks a lot of these rules that most horror movies have, and Sidney is arguably one of my favorite characters of all time. She doesn't take shit from anyone, and she fucking kicks ass.
Just what's the point? They're all the same. Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
So the character of Sidney showed my 15-year-old self that it was so awesome to have a girl kicking ass on screen against a killer in a horror movie. I know that sounds like common sense now, but at that age, with the exception of like Sarah Connor from Terminator or Ellen Ripley from Alien, I had only seen that most women in horror movies were given roles where they just ran and screamed and cried and most likely just got killed or worse. So Sidney Prescott as a character really excited me about the idea of creating characters that are awesome on screen and who just kick ass, regardless of their gender.
Not in my movie.
That meta aspect that Scream has is something that I really liked when I saw it as a teenager, and I obviously still like it now. Like, I love the fact that we, the audience, throughout the movie are trying to figure out who the killer is just as much as the characters are trying to figure it out, too.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie. There's a formula to it. A very simple formula. Everybody's a suspect.
Also, I just love the Ghostface costume, man. I just do. The mask is so simple, yet so iconic at this point. It's perfect. The robe is perfect, too. And the voice is just fucking iconic.
Why do you want to know my name?
I want to know who I'm looking at.
I love that voice. The intro scene with Drew Barrymore is one of my favorite scenes of all time. And it's because it combines all of the things I've been talking about. It's just perfect. Anyway, enough of me fanboying over the movie. But I just wanted to share what Scream has meant to me over the years. I want to one day make a horror movie or even a short film where I implement all of these things that I've learned from this movie. A cool story, characters that feel real and who are a joy to watch on screen, humor, self-awareness, an awesome killer, and sharp dialogue. But I want to know what you think about Scream. Out of the 4 movies so far, which one's your favorite? And also, are you as excited to watch Scream 5 as I am? I can't wait. Leave it in the comments. And alright, yeah. This is something a little different from my channel because it's usually like reviews, but I kind of enjoyed doing this video, so I think I'll make more of these. And plus, you'll get to know me a little better if, you know, you want to. And alright, yeah, that's the end of the video. Goodbye.